Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending whatever time you are listening to this. So tonight's class is very, very special. We're going to be talking on how to turn your prospects to a paying client in just 7 minutes. Now, if you are a salesperson, a realtor, or if you're a salesperson, a realtor, or whatever kind of business that you are into, and then you are struggling to turn those I get back to you clients to paying clients, you are struggling to get them to close and pay you your money, then this is something that you shouldn't miss. So we're going to be going live in the next 3 minutes. So, um, okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I see more people are joining the session. Welcome. Once again, can you tell us your name and then your state where you're joining from? Your name, your state, where you are joining from. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to be inviting my guest on stage. Amazing, 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 solid guy for sure. Yeah, someone with proven experience. And then he's going to be sharing his 2 cents. His 2 cents that literally change your whole life. If you've been doing low ticket offers, this is the time for you to enter the realm of multiple millions. So guys, welcome, 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 John from Benin City. Welcome. Welcome, Ade from Abuja. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining, kindly comment your name and where you are joining in from. Welcome, welcome, Alfred from Kaduna. Welcome. Yeah, so straight to the business of the night, how to turn your prospects into paying clients. Over to you, Doctor. Can you hear me?
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, my CEO, LSE Properties. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here tonight with everybody. Can you hear me, please?
Loud and clear, loud and clear, man, loud and clear.
All right, all right. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. I believe every single person that sells one thing or the other has gone through this phase before. The phase of I'll get back to you, the face of low client attraction, where it's like you're doing everything but nobody's paying attention to you, you know. And the phase where people are responding to your stuff, but they just end up buying from your competitors instead of you. You don't know what you have done wrong. And sometimes you have even gone to do many strategies, but all of these things eventually do not work. And we're going to be talking about a couple of things. I believe that so many persons that will be joining this, live session are on different levels, and I will try to cover up on some of these levels. While I trust that everybody will pick the parts that really, really relates to them. So I'll be talking about how to turn prospects into paying clients in 7 days. It's a tough topic, but I trust that you will get some value from it. Okay. First of all, I think it's very important that we understand the definition of things because a lot of people don't even know what prospects are, and people don't also know what clients are. Okay. So I'll start by saying that prospects are those I wrote here who have been introduced to you or to your crafts. Now, you have to pay attention to this definition because it's very deep. A prospect is someone who has been introduced to you or to your craft in some way or form, and that person has the capacity to buy from you, but they have not bought yet. I'll come again. A prospect is someone who has been introduced to you or to your craft in some way or form, and they have the capacity to buy from you, but they have not bought yet. Well, truly, if you look at the broad definition of a prospect sometimes doesn't really have the capacity. But right now, we are going to talk about people that have the capacity. I mean, these people already have the capacity, but they are not even buying from you. Okay. And I'm going to identify a few things there. First of all, I think in this definition, it's important to talk about how that the person is not just introduced to your crafts, sometimes the person is just introduced to you. And this is where it becomes interesting because have you seen people that they are, sometimes their offers are not beautiful, sometimes they are not doing anything special, but because they are the ones doing that stuff, people begin to buy. It shows us that People don't just buy products, people actually buy people. All right. And it's important that people begin to see you, and they're not just seeing you alone, but they're also seeing the products that you're selling. And that's why, I mean, that's what we define a prospect as: someone who has seen you, or the person might have not seen your product. The person has, have you seen people that you just fall in love with them? They are not selling anything yet, but you are falling in love with them to the point that you have made up your mind that if this person offers something, because I trust this person and I put my credibility on this person, I will definitely do business with them. Okay. And have you seen people that want to buy, some things? They have a lot of people around them, but they are coming back to you because there's just something about you. These things are not, they are not gimmicks. They are particular formulas that actually work for these things. And those are some of the things I'll be sharing with us tonight. A client is someone who has already given you money. That's who a client is, whether the person has done half payments, whether the person has done full payments, but someone that has exchanged money for you. So a person is not a client until that person has exchanged money for your value. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right, all right. So I went further to just explain and break it down for people that will be watching. Some people are beginners trying to, break into, sales, globally. And so I did a little bit of breakdown again. And I said a prospect is someone who has watched your content. A prospect is someone who has seen your content. I was listening to something online, from one of these very big guys who do personal branding. And the person was saying, I post every day, not because I just want to sell. I post every day so that people can see my face and see my name. I went back again and I said, wow, 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 wow. He said, I post every day so people can see my face and, see my name and even hear my voice. Because the more you see someone, the likelihood it is that you eventually buy from them. The more you consume someone's, stuff or material, the more the likelihood, when you get that value, that initial value you get, it just convinces your mind in such a way that you know that this person, there's something about this person, and I want to tap into whatever this person is selling. People really buy people. And a prospect is someone who has clicked your link that's probably not bought. A prospect is someone who has DM'd you that's probably not bought. Is that deep? Because people just look at it as though people look at it as people that have only come to them to say they want to buy, then they did not buy. That's not who a prospect is. A prospect is someone who has seen your content. A prospect is someone who has watched your content. A prospect is someone who has followed you. Someone looked at you on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, on which other platform do we have? LinkedIn and all of that, YouTube, and they followed you. My God, that person is a prospect. That person has identified you as someone that is worth following. Most times we don't understand the meaning of following, as a term, and it affects us a little. And a prospect is someone who has joined your group, someone who has entered into your funnel, someone who has attended your webinar. Right now as we speak, you are a prospect listening to us. All right. And that's just the way things are, you know. So I believe that that is a very good example or an explanation of who a prospect is. Someone who is in your pipeline. That is who a prospect is. Let me quickly say something I learned from a mentor. I'm just going deep into the topic so that I'll be able to communicate some things. The mentor said a lot of people don't like sales because they don't understand what sales is. A lot of people think sales is convincing someone to buy what they do not want to buy so you can make money. But that's not what sales is. Sales is persuading someone to make the choice that they would normally make before, but just presenting yourself as the obvious choice, the obvious person that they should buy from. All right. Sales is not really about you pushing someone to make, a decision. That's not what sales is. In sales, you are making someone see the need, all right, to buy from you. They already want to buy that stuff. Listen, I tell people that everybody wants to buy land. Everybody wants to build a house. Everybody wants to put, maybe sweeten their food or some way. But the thing is, you have to prove that you are the person that they should buy from. Because what you're selling already is a want. It is solving people's pain and people's problem. And so All you just need to do is to make yourself findable. And that's what sales is. Making yourself findable in such a way that they want to do business with you. It is not coming out and selling something that people do not even want to buy at all. All right. It is selling what people already want to buy and making yourself findable as the obvious choice that people should buy from, or your product as the obvious choice that people should pick instead of that of your competitors. Can I go ahead? Three
Yeah, go
categories
ahead.
of prospects. Three categories of prospects. All right. And I'll just categorize it by percentages. So 3% of people who see whatever you're selling are ready to buy right now. That's category one. People who are ready to buy right away. They are hot prospects, hot audience, or whatever you would call it now. They are hot. They see your stuff and they buy. I'm sure you've seen people like that. They are meeting you for the first time. They are telling you they love you already. I mean, just by some way, maybe your clothes, maybe the perfume you wore. It could be anything. And that's the funny thing about sales. And online, sometimes it could just mean your content. It could just mean that they watched three things and they just landed on your profile, watched three things, and they said, "Oh my God, I'm buying from this person. This person has it." And we're going to touch on that today. How you can make yourself that kind of person. All right. That the 3% of people, and your job in sales is to ensure that those 3% of people, you get the 3% of them. All right. Every single time they land on your store, every single time they are introduced to you, whether for the first time, for the second time, or for the 14th time, they are making the decision to buy from you. Number two category, the 7% of people. And the 7% of people are people that they are open to what you are selling. They, as a matter of fact, they want to buy. But you see, these people, they need a push. Okay. They need a push. And you see, this is where most of us lose. A lot of us actually get the 3% of people. You see, 3% of people, let me come again and say 3% of people, they are like those people that come through referrals. Do you notice that when a person comes through referrals, you don't need to say much again? The person is already sold. Whoever referred the person to you already put their credibility on that
On the
person. So
line.
the person is already sold. And so the person is coming to you, you're thinking you're a good salesman, but the person is pre-sold already because it's part of the 3%. Our job as people, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, is to begin to find a way to also attract the 7% of people and to sell to them. Those are people who are open to your products, who are open to your person. Because the reason why I'm talking about person and not just products is because we have come to an age where people are actually buying people. In the past, it didn't look like that. Sometimes you just look like just have the products we buy. This time around, people are even more concerned about who is the CEO, who is selling this thing. And that's why CEOs are no more playing small. They are now building personal brands because they
Mm.
know that they also need to make themselves findable in the market. Because a CEO that has a good brand, as well as a company, building a company that has a good brand, that kind of CEO is hard to beat. And guess what? Those are the things that the 1% of the 1% are focusing on right now. And the people that are not serious with their businesses are not focusing on that right now. And that's what is killing their business because people at the top are now carrying all the customer again, taking all the clients and allowing us to struggle. All right. And I want you to just make up your mind that while listening to this, you should make up your mind that you are part of the 1% because you truly are. Because it is how you see yourself that you begin to play in the industry. You are part of the top people playing in the market that you are playing right now, in the industry that you are playing right now. All right. And so I was saying the 7% of people are people that are open to buying, but they need a push. Okay. And I'm going to talk on that or touch on that a little bit. All right. And we have 90% of people. It's crazy that sometimes when we are giving percentages, you would think it will be 10%, then maybe 20%, then the other one will be 30, then the other, no, it is 3% and 7%, then 90%. Almost everybody that comes to your lead is part of this 90%. The 90% are people that are not even thinking about it. As important as land is right now, I'm just talking about land because, this is a platform we should discuss that on, right? As important as land is, and something that people should always subscribe to buy, especially when you start making your money. And if you're not a first, landowner, you are someone that already buys, lands, you are looking into spreading and scaling, you know, there are people that are still not, open to what we are selling, even though it's solving a real problem. And we need to find a way to make those people open to it. Those are the 90%. And most of us fail on doing that. You know, it's just funny that it's just funny that many big brands are still trying to attract, they are still doing billboards. Many big brands are still doing flyers. Many big brands are consistent on social media. Many big brands are bringing in young people to be part of their content strategy. One of these days, I can't remember, maybe it was EFCC. I saw them creating content, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
EFCC is also joining, this revolution, because everybody now knows. I saw Dr. Cosmas Maduka recently, you know, from China, telling us that okay, he's in China now and he's doing this, and I'm like, we are playing. A lot of people are playing, because they are not attracting, and Dr. Cosmas is consistently attracting people. Now, let me use you as an example. Mr. Joseph, when you traveled just recently to Ghana, and we could see those contents, every one of us already knew that this person is upscaling, this person is going for more knowledge, this person is getting more connections, and everybody that is seeing that is happy to be affiliated with your brand. Just by doing that. By doing that, you're attracting the 90% of people that were not interested before. They're like, okay, this real estate thing is real. Maybe I should just find a way to get into it. You know why? Because they were not thinking about it before, but some things that you are doing is making them think about it now. And people that were not interested before are now getting interested. And so I should now move to my next point now. So how do we attract people that are open to it but need a push? I think we should start with those people first, because it will be something else for me to start teaching you how to attract hot clients, people that are ready to buy. All you just need to do to them is to send them your details and make sure that the stuff is not too how do I put it now? It's not too hard to, a lot of people complicate sales. You want to make sales, right?
Yeah.
You are now sending them a link that will take them to a link. The person is ready to pay. Oh, not that you are trying to remove unserious people from serious people. This person is ready to pay. This person has the money. You're sending them to a link. Then from the link, you get their BVN. Come on. What do you need BVN for? And that's what a lot of people are doing to us clients. But already you know how to attract us clients. Just go ahead, send them the payment plan, send them what they need to buy, and then they'll make payments. But I'm talking about people that are open to it, but they need a push. All right. And number one, I'll be talking about is shameless consistency. I put shameless there because I discovered that a lot of people now, especially in our generation, where the big people are not trying to go down, and some people are trying to rise. All right. And some people are just at that mid-level. They are not, people don't perceive them as the greatest in the industry. They are trying to break out. All right. People need to start engaging shameless consistency. All right. And shameless consistency may mean many things. Shameless consistency may mean calling the clients. I like this in the Igbo business, model. Let me tell you a story. There was a time I went to a store to just get a chair for an office, for a workspace. And when I got there, I wanted to visit another market before coming back to that market. And I was talking to this Igbo guy. I was like, okay, guy, you know what I'll do? I'll go to that other market now, and then I'll come here to buy whatever I'm buying. And the guy said, oh, uncle, I don't have any issues with that. Thank you so much for patronizing us. The only thing I want from you now is, can you just make a deposit so that we'll go and take the chair from, our warehouse and bring it to this place, so you won't have to stress yourself. Young boy, oh, I was just looking at him, and I said, this guy knows what he's doing. He's ensuring that even if he's reducing the barrier of entry, shamelessly trying to tell me that uncle don't run away with our money, with style, buy with us. All right, just drop some money. And he knows once I drop that money, I will have to come back because that money must
Mm.
not go. All right. So that was shameless. All right. That's just to explain the concept shameless. A lot of people need to start getting shameless with consistency. What does that mean? That means direct reminders. Telling your client, oh, boss, you said you are going to do this, you're going to make this payment by this time to this time. How about making it now? Because we're about to be sold out. All right. Direct. Sometimes it could be with content, showing your face again. This is something that, although this is not a high ticket product that, Funke Akindele sells, but you could tell that this person is shameless. She knows when it comes to marketing, you need to first of all believe in your products. You need to believe that this thing you are bringing, because you're a problem solver. You're not trying to collect people's money. You are trying to solve people's problem. And so once you approach it like that, the mindset shifts. You can remind them that they have not paid, or rather they've not made payment. And we're talking about 7 days. It will be futile for me to now say on day one, you will do this, then on day two, you will do this, then on day three, you will do this. No. You know why I will not say that? The reason why I will not say that is because the client may be converted on day one. And if I start telling you that you have to wait till day 7 to convert that client, then it may just be a waste. You are just fixing your mind on that day 7. Meanwhile, the next thing you may need may be shameless consistency. Really asking the person that has already showed interest, that has already entered into your funnel, that will you buy it now? Not even will you buy it now. Telling the person what plan are you going for straight up, assuming that they are ready to buy. Because that's another mistake some people make. Some people make the mistake of, trying to tell people, will you buy? Instead of telling them, we have this plan, which one are you going for? All right. That's another big mistake people make. Number two that I wanted to say is creating educational content. Believe you me, people are checking out people on social, especially if you're selling something high tickets. Don't play with content. Don't play with content is part of the things you are doing within the 7 days. Let me tell you, the moment a person clicks on your stuff and the person shows interest, the moment that person leaves without you closing the person, guess what happens on Instagram? Guess what happens on Twitter? The algorithm is telling the person that you love that content, and they'll begin to bring other companies. They'll begin to bring other options. Unfortunately, if you are someone that is not consistent and does not show up the next day, the person may just go with your competitor. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So there is that part of you creating direct education to your client. And the mistakes some people make. I'm going to show us about 7 types of, content we should begin to create. That's what I will end with. 7 kinds of content you should begin to create. Those contents, what we are doing now is called psychology. You need to understand buyer behavior. All right. And once you understand the behavior of your clients, you can easily catch them. You can easily get them. You can easily make them remove money from their wallet and then give you that money because you actually deserve it. You know the psychology. All right. So there is direct educational content. And what is the educational content of supposed to be talking about? Supposed to be talking about their dreams. It's supposed to be talking about their desires. It's supposed to be talking about their pain. It's supposed to be talking about their psychology, the things they are going through. Do you know there is this guy I follow online, and this guy is doing so well, selling high ticket products. What does he do? He doesn't talk about the products. He always talks about our mindset, like as if we are not ready to buy, like we are not hungry enough. And then if we are hungry enough, we will buy. This guy makes sales almost every day by just talking about the psychology of the buyers. He knows them. Let me tell you something about marketing. You need to know your people more than they even know themselves. If you can articulate what your clients are going through more than they even feel it, you'll be able to close them in record time. Okay, and that's very important. Number 3 is proofs. Proofs. And you see, the problem with proofs is that a lot of people don't know how to do proofs. A lot of people just come and say, screenshot, like, affiliate marketing of those days, and they just make it. You see, people, Nigerians now, especially Nigerians, they are, I know we are speaking to a global audience right now, but I'm saying that, let me not even just restrict it to Nigerians. People are way more sensitive right now with what they spend on. People are very sensitive. So look at what people want as proofs. People want an exact prototype of someone that is going through what they are going through, especially as regards buying. The person eventually made the buying decision. Then the buying decision eventually made the person to a part of progress. Showing them that kind of person is what will make some people buy. In fact, most people, for instance, you want to sell land, or let me say, yeah, let me use land. You want to sell land to someone who has already bought a lot of land. Telling the person that you need to get land, land is good, the person knows. That's why the person bought land already. All right. And this kind of person has a lot of money. This person wants to buy hectares. This kind of person wants to buy acres. So telling the person that just secure your one plot, that kind of messaging is not going to get that kind of person. All right. But if you are showing the person a proof, let's just imagine, someone said something. He said, all you need is one big client. If you're selling to IT people, all you need is one big client. If the big client, one big client that can give you a testimonial, if that big client can give you a testimonial, other big clients will come because they've seen their guy. And they believe that if their guy is buying from this person, then I think this person is credible. All right. And that's how the whole thing works. At different levels of, whatever you're selling, you may have a low ticket product, you may have a high ticket product, a mid ticket product. You need to find proofs that matches the low ticket product. So when you drop it, the people that are low ticket are attracted to that proof. So you are saying how this person made his first 5 million and he quickly secured, a land in a fast growing area or whatever it is. And then, what happened over 10 years or over 2 years? The person just flipped the money like that with land banking. Guess what's happening? Another guy just made his first 5 million. And he said, okay, this is the wisest decision. Okay, so I will buy. You get what I'm saying? So I will also buy the land. But if you just say this guy bought land and you just put testimonial, sold out, bro, you are selling out, but there's a way you need to add storytelling to your proofs. It converts. It converts. You're talking about what the person felt like before. The person struggled to buy land because the person just made his first 10 million and he invested 5 million into buying land. He struggled because he felt he could be scammed. He struggled because he felt you know the pain points. And then you list out those pain points of someone in that level. All right, because the pain point of someone on level 10 million is different from the pain point of someone on level 10 billion. There are two different pain points. And so you need to isolate the pain points like that. All right. And okay, say something like this person already has a lot of land, but this person looked into our company and saw that our locations are strategic and bought lands with us. All right, of 10 acres. All right, something like that. And saying, that development is something he's using maybe to farm or whatever. And he's just building it like that for his great grandchildren, building generational wealth. That looks like a topic for someone that's already doing hundreds of millions. The person wants to build generational wealth. So you mentioning that in your proof makes that person feel like, okay, let me also buy for my children's children. I mean, what am I using money for? Instead of buying this car, let me just buy a land. And if you're someone selling car, okay, there's a way you also put your message in that makes the person feel like, okay, let me buy a car. We need to make people see, the need again for the things that we sell. Even though we know what we sell is something people want, we also need them to see the need to buy it, and not just the need to buy it, but the need to buy it now. And that's why your messaging is important. It must create a little bit of urgency. You must create a little bit of scarcity depending on what you're trying to sell at that time. Okay. And then the third thing I was talking about is pressure. 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 I was telling a story somewhere I was speaking at, and I was telling the person, it was something I worked online. This man, he wasn't going to buy anything. These people are selling land. And they just happened to meet him. And the man was like, scammers, all these scammers, come on, get out of my place. And one lady walked up to him and said, sir, do you have anybody around you that has bought a land? And the man said, yes, my brother bought land. And there's nothing since all these days. It's not like he has flipped the money. And the lady said, sir, I'm so sorry to break this news, but unfortunately, in the next 2-3 years, your brother may be the breadwinner of the family. and you may just end up being poor and broke if you keep keeping your money in the bank. And the man felt like he was insulted. He felt like his ego was bruised. And guess what he did? He collected the flyer from someone else and called that number in the night. And he said, am I speaking to this? I met some of your people, earlier today and all of that. And the man said, so how much are you guys selling those lands? And the man happened to buy, I can't really remember, but I think it was some acres. Why did he buy? Because he did not want his brother to be the breadwinner. Let me tell you something. People intrinsically, people are competing. You need to tap into the pain, the fears that people have. Do you know that rich people are scared that their money will not flow to their grandchildren? So there are people that are wealth uh, preservation coaches. They preserve wealth. That's what they do. They don't create. They are not wealth creation. Go and create the wealth. When you have the money, we help you preserve it, because they found out that people actually, and you know what, real estate and many other businesses are connected here, help in those things, and we need to find a way to position ourselves also in that niche of wealth preservation and not just wealth creation. Most of us have been talking about wealth creation, but most of us are not talking about wealth preservation. And the bulk of the money many times can come from those people that are trying to preserve wealth. Those people are asking you how much. You are talking too much. You are saying it's besides Ekpe, is the Oga, how much? Done. That's what they want to do. They want to tell you that done. But unfortunately, the problem with some of us is they are not finding us because we are not creating the content that attracts them. On every of us social media, we are seeing different things. We are seeing different things. We are seeing the things our friends are liking. Some of us are seeing the things that we're interested in. Some of us are seeing the things we are talking about. The same with those people. So if you can tailor your content to those kind of people also, then you may be able to attract them. At least let them see you first. And then they make the buying decision, later on. So I was saying pressure. And under pressure also, under pressure now I talk about calling out the fear. Actually telling the person that, bro, you will go broke if you don't do this. Bro, you are not going to preserve generational wealth if you don't do this. Calling it out like that puts pressure on them. And then number two is calls. I know a lot of people don't do calls anymore because we're in social media era. But I'm telling you that there are people that have this money. In fact, if you look into most high ticket stuff, right, people call because those people that want to spend a lot of money, they want to know that you are real. They want to know that yes, you can solve their problem. They want to ask you some questions and can you answer them? And those are the things they are looking out for. They don't stress you, but they want to make some inquiries. And they don't want to chat online. They just want you to call them. And sometimes these people are busy. Guess what? You are talking to someone that is very busy, running maybe 5 companies, is actually interested in what you're doing, interested in maybe investing with you, interested in all of those things. And guess what? All you just need to do is to call the person and say, hello, sir. We talked the other day. I don't know if you're still interested. I know you're so busy and all of that. I know you're interested. And will you make the payment right now? I'm about to send the account details. And the person say, okay. But doing that and not doing that may be the difference between someone that is making a lot of money and the person that is not making a lot of money. People are already ashamed of selling. And it's because, like I said, they don't know the meaning of selling. You are helping people when you sell to them. You are helping people when you give them your product. And so calling, putting pressure on them is very important. The last thing I'll talk about under this, how to help push people that are open to it, is positioning. Positioning, 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 positioning. As stupid as this looks, a day in the life, I've seen big CEOs doing all of these things now. Are you bigger than them? As little as, let me tell you something that I saw one girl do online. This girl is 21 years old and she did like, I can't really remember, maybe 11 million or something in sales. She was selling a low ticket product. So it's a mid ticket product in Nigeria, right? But it's low ticket actually. And what did she do? After she had made some money, she just went online and said, a day in the life of a 21-year-old girl taking her grandpa on shopping. She just said taking her grandpa shopping. I'm going to restock everything in the village. I said, whoa. Now, what does that make you think? That makes you think she has a lot of money. That makes you think she doesn't need your money to keep selling her products. That makes you think, okay, if she's actually, one of the ways to prove that you have money is not just to show your account details. One of the ways to show it is to show that you are spending. All right.
Mm.
She showed us, she took the grandpa out, restocked everything at home, bought provisions, brought, I think she bought 10 chickens. She was just buying things. And then when she finished, I had registered for this lady's product. More than 15 people joined us after she dropped that content. I said, Kai, because some people are thinking it was audio money. When they saw that, she spent, I think she spent, and it wasn't just a lot, because it was a low ticket product, spending about 400,000 naira on her grandpa in one day, meant a lot of things to people. And they kept buying, kept buying, kept buying. She made that money back that day. Why? She just
Mm.
told you a story of how she spends her money. And that's also what do we call it here? Philanthropy. And that's why many of these big people you see, they do philanthropy a lot. Why do you think Tolu Elumelu is giving grants? Hope you know he moves the business forward. He moves the
Mm.
business forward. He moves the business forward. He's positioning himself hard. That's why he puts all those status when he meets all these presidents. It's not because he's not trying to be relevant. He's relevant already. Why is he still doing it? These people don't stop doing what made them because they know that's what will still make them bigger. Positioning. Positioning. All right, positioning. So that's very important. So let me quickly talk about, I know time is not on our side again, so I just want to quickly talk about certain kinds of things that you should put on, your pages online, because let me quickly say this disclaimer. Not everybody is going to buy within 7 days. I must tell you this. Some people are going to buy using this, philosophy that I'm teaching within 7 days, but not everybody is going to buy within 7 days. But guess what? You have a higher chance, you have a higher likelihood to close more people doing all of these things that I've mentioned. Number one of the type of contents you should begin to create, or one of the kind of things you should begin to put out there, even if you don't call it content, is called connect with symptoms kind of content. Connect with symptoms, where you are triggering people's dopamine. Is a kind of content that describes what someone is experiencing in their own words. And let me quickly say this. Do you know that everybody is experiencing something? Everybody has a problem they want solved. It's so crazy that is the reason why Nigeria would keep producing billionaires. I know people that fly all the way down to Nigeria to start businesses because they've seen that people have problems here. And solving those problems, talking about those problems, talking about it. And there's a problem. Let me please say this, Mr. Joseph. Most people talk
Yeah.
about client's problem that they think the problem has, that the client has, as the problem. That's not how to talk about client's problem. Let me quickly give you a sample, and maybe people should do this. This would be like the biggest thing you can do right now. Go ahead this week, write a list of people that have bought from you before, especially your best clients. Write their names and just do a Zoom meeting daily with them. Pick one day each and do a Zoom meeting with them and ask them questions like, why did you buy from me? What made you attracted to me? This is the kind of questions I'm asking. I'm talking about mental, because some people buy with their minds and some people buy emotionally. In those questions, they're going to tell you logical reasons why they bought. And they're going to tell you emotional reasons why, in the exact way, especially if you use Zoom Premium. Transcribe the exact things they said and put it in a doc, in a Google Doc. Those are the exact words you should be using to sell your products. Everybody that looks like that person will begin to buy from you. And let me tell you, all of us, we are like the same. We think alike. We speak alike. the same words that you are using for that person will trigger another person to buy. You can keep asking questions from that person to squeeze out the reason why that person is still buying from you. And if the person has stopped buying from you, ask the person, why have you not bought one more? Two things you are doing there. You are making the person feel like buying one more time, and then you're also trying to know the loopholes in your business. That's not making them turn to returning clients. This is something that if you do, it's going to change your sales game. People that are doing well with selling are obsessed with their customers. They are obsessed with their customers' pain. They are obsessed with their customers' language. They are obsessed with their customers' methodology. Then, if the client bought by just sending your details straight up, just send it again and again and again. I made a mistake one time in my life. Something was working, the funnel was working for me, and I stopped it. I just stopped it. I just felt like, there's this feeling when you want to do something new. Whatever is working, keep using it. Keep maxing out on that stuff. Even if you are trying out new stuff, don't forget that old stuff that is working. All right. So reach out to your client this week. Everybody, every CEO here, entrepreneur, just find a way. Tell your team, let them reach out to clients, previous clients, and get these details from them, especially the words, the way they think. What made them buy at that time? Okay. And you do this across all the levels of clients that you have. Those people that are coming up for the low ticket products you sell, those people that are already made from the high ticket product, you will see that their languages are different. You will definitely see that the person that is doing the person about low ticket products will tell you, I didn't want to lose out. I wanted to, multiply my money. The person that's already making a lot of money, sometimes they'll say something like, everybody likes money. Pick that phrase. That's a phrase. Everybody likes money, even the rich. That's your content. When rich people see it, they know, yeah, they like every rich person likes money. And so when they hear that, say, this guy knows us. This guy is part of us. Because you know their language. Number 2 is the villain type of content. And what does this do? This kind of stuff, and this is not just content. Please don't forget, on your status, you are not creating anything. Just once in a while, just come online and do some of these things. And once in a while, reach out to your clients and tell them some of these things. Whether you have a community you are building, put some of these things on those places. What are you doing? You are going against the popular ways of doing things. I don't want to mention the name, but there's someone in the real estate sector doing that stuff. He's talking down on almost everybody as if his own is the best. And people are already buying from him. You probably know the person. I'm not mentioning the name.
Yeah, I know.
He's talking about, he's doing villain content. He's maxing out on it. And now their podcast, where he's speaking and then people are buying into his ideology. You have your ideologies. And do you know, because we said people buy you and not just your product, people also want to see that you think differently. Check out anybody that is doing well online today or anybody doing well in the world. They dare to think differently. They just came up with their own methods. All right. The moment you can do these things, you would be able to close clients better. The reason why I'm teaching this is because if you get your positioning well, you won't struggle to be closing clients in 7 days. That's the thing. The struggle comes when we didn't get the positioning well. Because there are certain people that they are not selling to you currently, but you are making up your mind that you will buy from them when you have enough money to buy their stuff. And they are not even saying, Joseph, come and buy. Dr. Abiadu, come and buy. They are not mentioning your name. But they are already speaking to the future version of you. And you already know that once I eat this amount of money, I'm going to invest in this stuff. Guess what they are doing? They have created it's content. I'm calling it content not because of ring light or all of these things. I'm calling it content because of what you put out there. So once you get your positioning right, every single thing follows. Positioning is like 90%, but most of us focus on trying to call client and tell them, you are expecting me to say, when the person says this, then say that. When the person says this, then say that. Sometimes it's just the positioning. Most of the people that will buy from you will not stress you. because they already know that this is what you sell, and they already know this is what you talk about, and they already know this is what you don't like. When people want to sell high ticket products, one of the things I see they talk against, they talk down low ticket products as if low ticket products are useless. Meanwhile, the two are good. The two can get you anywhere. What you need is audience. If you can get the right audience for the low ticket, they're going to sell as much as someone that is selling high tickets. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. But once you want to sell high ticket products, you have to also do as if, okay, low tickets does not work. It's high ticket that is the way. So it's marketing. And those high ticket guys, they know what they are doing. The low ticket guys also, they know what they are doing. You must just know your clients. Who are you speaking to? What are you trying to sell to them? And how do you want to get them to buy it? Oh my God, my time is fast spent, so I'll just rush on the remaining. Narrate the desired outcomes. Always learn to tell your clients what they stand to gain. The outcomes, not just the features of your product. The outcomes, what would they get from investing in this? Make them see themselves in the future so that they can invest in themselves now. Because you are not just selling products, you are selling offers. The offer is what is the futuristic view of what you are talking about. So what their brain is doing at that point where you are telling them about the future, what they will start to get is that this is where they want to be. This is where they are. The brain begins to close up that gap by taking the action, the buying action. Because they know if they take that buying action, they will enter the future now. That's what everybody wants to do. All right. Number 4 is elevate authority kind of content. Elevate authority. All right. And this is where you are combining aspiration, vulnerability, controversy. Do you know there are people that just come online and just pack controversy? I'm not saying you should do this all the time, but once in a while, just combine all of these things, the vulnerability of people, controversy. And one of the things that this thing creates is it creates trust in you. Because when you look like, okay, you are on the right path of the controversial, other people are being controversial towards what you're saying, you are sparking a controversy, people begin to trust you that, okay, could he be right? Could she be right? Could they be right? Could this company be right? And people do it all the time. Companies do it subtly. Companies do it a lot. And most times, testimonials cannot replace this. I'm almost done. Tap into their identity. That's another kind of content. Tapping into their identity. Tapping into their identity. And this is when someone comes to say, I don't see this a lot in the real estate space, where people come around and say, if you are this and you are struggling with this, you are looking forward to doing this is what you should do. And then they talk about that stuff. People attribute, reverence to people who have taught them something. A lot of people are just talking about the features. We're not talking about the pain that those people are trying to solve. And then at the end of that pain, you're not pitching yourself as the best person. One character in the scripture did this, where he said you can just look for a wise person that is honest and all of that. And he was the only person that was like that. So sometimes you just need to talk about the whole thing, and then people will bounce back to you to buy what you're selling. All right. Then the next thing is speak to gaps and mistakes. The mistakes people are making, the gaps they are making. This is 5 things you are doing wrongly when you are investing in real estate. These are 5 things your lawyers are not telling you. This is just talk about gaps, the mistakes. People are, you get most of these things from that content, from that call you had with your clients. Because another question you should ask them is, so what are you going through right now? What are you going through right now? What are the things you feel we can help you solve? They are going to tell you. They bought from you before. You're not trying to attract them. Those ones they bought from you. All right. And then second to the last, result showcase. Once you show a result, I already talked about that before. And then the final one is overcoming objections. Sometimes your content or whatever you put out there should just overcome some form of objection or the other. And then people would be willing to buy. Don't forget again, check up on them every time. Call them, follow up on them. Text. If text is not working, call. People like to be disturbed. You just feel you are disturbing them. They love to be checked up on. Checked up on. People love it. When someone is checking up on them to buy something that they already want to buy. Don't forget, you're not selling what people don't want to buy. Thank you so much. I'm done. I
Wow.
just wanted to ensure. if I was to take
Amazing,
time.
amazing, amazing, amazing session. I think one thing that hit me was when you said positioning is 90%. The moment you get
Yes,
positioning wrong, every other
yes,
thing is wrong, whether you
hmm,
handing objections and all of that. Because even
yeah,
from positioning, you can tell who you attract. When you're positioned wrongly,
yes,
you definitely attract the wrong people. So you might be
yes.
putting all the whole sales technology you have in your head, but if they don't have this
I'm
money,
telling
they
you,
can't actually buy.
they
That is
can't. Yeah.
amazing. Amazing. And then you also talk about shameless consistency. Shameless
Mm,
consistency. I was
mm,
listening to someone, and then he said, he really don't blame people when they complain they are broke or when they don't have money. Say take someone
mm,
like Pella. Pella deserves to be their mentor. And then I was like, why would you say such a
mm,
thing? So Pella realized
mm.
that the one thing that he's good at is speaking bad English, and that bad English is making him money. So every single day
Hi,
he's showing up doing that same one thing. But then you see people that they
hi,
are good vocally, they can sing, but you still have to beg these people to go to the studio to even do covers. Or
hi,
you see somebody
hi.
that is a good salesperson, you beg him to follow up. It means that you don't want it enough.
Mm-hmm,
It means you have a plan B.
mm-hmm,
The moment you have a plan
mm-hmm.
B, it means you will not take what you are doing serious. So
Yeah.
what you said about
You know,
shameless consistency,
some
yes.
people are too intelligent to be successful.
Mm,
Their intelligence, their intelligence is what is blocking them from the success actually. Because and that's why, I won't argue with someone like Robert Kiyosaki that wrote a book, why A students work for C students and B students for the government. Because A students, most of the times, I mean, I'm a person of excellence, I believe in excellence and all of that. I'm just saying that most of the times, A students, they've not tasted failure. They don't even want to fail. You know, why
mm,
would someone like Pella see something that's supposed to be a disability or something that's supposed to be a discouraging factor, and you are pitching on that stuff, that exact stuff that is discouraging? And then some people will say that person is not intelligent. Is intelligent.
mm.
Is intelligent. And because he feels like, well, I'm failing already. So, I mean, I
What
may
do you have
just
to
try.
lose?
I mean, if I fail,
Yeah.
what do I have to lose? But people that are intelligent are like, oh, no, 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 I must not, I must pass everything. It doesn't work like
Mm.
that in life, unfortunately.
Sadly. Amazing, amazing, amazing session. Like, honestly, it
Thank
took
you.
a whole lot for him to even accept to be here. So I'm truly, truly grateful. I'm truly
Thank you
myself. I
so
took
much.
notes literally. So I've learned a whole lot from your
Wow.
session, and
Thank you.
I'm actually going to implement
Thank you.
everything. So amazing session. I want to say a very, very big thank you. Is there any question? If there's no question, we could just end the space right now. We're making plans for our student money summit. It's coming to the University of Ibadan, and then we're going to be having Dr. Abiodun in
Wow.
person.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is just me
Wow.
breaking the ice for him now, but we're going to
I'll be
send all the
so
whole
glad.
necessary. Yeah, so it's going to be big. It's going to be big. We're bringing top guys from Abuja, from Lagos, and of course, Dr. Abiodun will be present. So a very big thank you to everyone that joined,
Wow.
and then enjoy the rest of the session. So thank you again, my boss. Truly appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your
Wow.
evening.
I'll be so glad. So glad. So glad. Let me just
Yeah.
say thank you to LSC Properties and to you, the CEO. I mean, you are doing a big, big work. And let me just quickly encourage anybody out there just listening to this and you've not invested into real estate. I think you should do business with them. You can already see people that show themselves out there, put themselves out there like this, and are ready to put you through these things. I believe that they can get you the best of investment that you would want to make, and they have a lot of things that you can do with them. So just tag on LSC Properties on Instagram
Yeah.
and Mr. Joseph on Instagram. You see all of those things maybe in the description. Just ensure that you follow him. This man is worth following, and the
Appreciate
company is worth
it.
investing with. So please, guys, do business with them. Do business with them.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
again,
this
my
invite,
leader.
and thank you to the whole
Thank
team.
you, boss.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Yeah.
night, guys, and enjoy.
All right.